Michelle. Nice to meet you, Michelle.
So while Mr. Bill gets set up and setting up here, we kind of wanted to preface this meeting with kind of our overall goal and intent here. There's a couple things, right? So first, we want to get into the training mode that we're going to do for the from the operations side with the portal. The back end stuff. So that's the big part of it. But then the other part is as we're finally getting to where we're set up as we can set up as a team and have managers in different areas. And it's important to invest in the managers. If we don't invest in you guys, it's hard to invest in the business because the door keeps turning over, and every time you keep trying to sit down and build a team, you have to keep changing out players, and it gets super tough. So now we're comfortable and we have the right people in place. Now it's time to start building and creating a stronger team and putting some tools in our tool belt. That's what you're going to hear me talk about a lot as we go through this. We have to have tools in our tool belts to use when certain situations come up. I always think about Batman. He has a big tool belt, right? But he doesn't use the same thing in every situation, right? So when there's certain situations that take place within the store, inside, even outside the store, in our personal lives, we have to equip ourselves with the proper tools to make sure we can tackle the problem at the time. So that's kind of why we had Mr. Bill. We're investing. We had Mr. Bill come out here, and he's going to do his thing, and it's going to help coach and get us in the right direction. And we'll just continue to add on that. We hope to, this isn't a one-off thing that we continue to do. So take in, be attentive, ask as many questions as you want, and let's get the growing.
Awesome. Well, it's nice to meet you all. My hope is this will be interactive. So if you have questions, please tell me. I don't want it to just be talking. I'd rather have you guys mostly talk if you can. I'm going to send you a couple of things around. I am recording it. This is just for my training and for my own promotion stuff, so you guys won't be on it. But if you don't mind, I have a release. So if your face happened to be on it, say yes or no. I don't care if you do. If you do, I'll just white you out. You know, if there's a picture, I'll just white you. I had my last team did that, and I just whited out this one dude. He's like gone. You know, so and I just do that so that you guys don't want your stuff put out. I don't want to put it out, and all the recordings are for me, for my stuff. Your voices aren't going to be on it because it's on mic. You guys are not. And then I do too. I have a newsletter that does tips and tricks and stuff. If you want it, sign up. If you don't want it, that's fine too. No big deal. And this is for you guys. So if you could pass that around, and then take one of these and pass it around, and take one of those and pass it around. So I have 20 hours and pack into an hour. I'm just kidding, actually. My hope really is to give you 2 or 3 tools today. That's what I want to do. Just like you talked about tools in your tool belt. We want to help you have some other tools, relational tools in your tool belt. I'm a leadership coach. What we're going to look at today, I want to help you kind of ingrain these 3 things to you. 1 word, thank you. 1 attitude, gratitude. And 1 value, appreciation. If you can do this in your personal and professional life, it will transform who you are. I guarantee it. We've seen marriages flipped around in a couple weeks. I have a manager that I helped him with. He was really struggling with a bunch of his employees because the employees were going around him talking to the boss, telling him how much this guy sucks because he's a douche. And 2 or 3 sessions later, like, dude, this guy's fine. Questions stopped. No more arguments. Because he went from being an angry boss, telling people what the freak to do, to, hey, man, hey, we had some conflict. Can you help me understand what's going on with this? And that's like night and day between conflict and gratitude. And if you want to build a strong team, it's built around gratitude. And our culture does not do this. They are doing the opposite. The people on the far right, far left hate each other, and that's why we're seeing this huge craziness happen. And this is probably the culprit of most of it. You know, and we'll talk about that a little I'm a leadership coach. I've been mentoring people, young adults, since I was in my early 20s. So I've been doing it about 40 years. I'm a leadership coach. I've been coaching for the last 5 years. I have my own business for the last year. Married. I've been married almost 32 years. 4 or 5 years ago, I went through some of the coaching. It's radically transformed our marriage. We thought we had a great marriage, but we had 6 or 7 things like, great, if you guys get married. If you don't have 6,000 arguments, you have 6 arguments 1,000 times. And I'm going to show you that's probably because personality difference. If you guys took the Clifton's assessment and I put you side by side, I can probably tell you why you have 6 arguments. And it's because you judge each other. That's it. And for us, now I have a new language that I use with my wife. So we really don't argue much. Now we have better conversations, you know. We still have tension. We still have some friction. But the way I would say is we put emotional oil between that friction. So just like a car, you drive that thing without oil, the thing blows up. You drive it with oil, no big deal. You drive it for 300,000 miles. And I have an adult son in Portland. He's 24. So that's kind of my background. I was an Army pilot, too, for 10 years. Before I did that, worked for a nonprofit for about 20. So if you don't mind, I'd like to go around and just, I don't know you guys, so I'd like, and gals. So if I say guys, I mean anthropos, right? So I say that a lot, so sorry. No intent. Could we go around and just tell me these 4 things? 1, who you are, where you're from. 1 thing you like about your team, this team. Not the whole team, but this team. And 1 thing you're grateful for this morning. Do you mind starting?
My name is Deja. I'm from Crestview, Florida. I like that we are new and that there's a lot of things going on to bring us closer together and make us depend on each other. That it actually feels like a team.
Great.
I'm grateful to be alive.
Woohoo! It's a good thing to be grateful for. We could be dead.
Yes,
It's half the battle.
Well, I'm DeAndre Matthews. I'm from Miramar, Florida. Miami.
Yeah. Oh, not this Miramar.
Not Miramar.
Not Miramar Beach.
Yeah.
Big difference.
I'm glad we have a team now. That's one thing I'm happy for. We didn't have a team for a while now.
Okay.
And I'm grateful for, for waking up this morning.
Awesome.
God bless.
How about you, Erica?
I'm Erica Harris. I am from Michigan.
Go Bucks.
Huh?
Go Bucks. No, I'm just kidding. Thank you.
Kind of what DeAndre said. Last year we didn't have
Ah.
so it's moving in the right direction.
Good.
And I'm thankful for having a job. So
Yeah, it's a great thing to be thankful for.
people don't have jobs.
Yeah, they don't.
I'm Latoya. From Miramar, I guess, by way of Jamaica.
Oh.
I don't think you knew that, Bill.
I didn't.
Did I?
I didn't know you're from Jamaica. You don't
So
sound
I
like you're
actually
from
know Bill
Jamaica.
from the gym. We're at the same militia fitness.
She just got pumped
Yeah.
for her workout or for her show. She looked great.
Competition.
That's right.
I would say one thing I like about the team, obviously, kind of echoing a lot of that because, it had been a struggle. We've been in this for about 2 years now, and I don't think we ever had a point to where we had a team for all locations, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just also the fact that, the team is saying, okay, you guys want to invest in us, let us also, come and participate in trainings and stuff like that. I'm grateful for, obviously, family support, and really being able to have this business, right?
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
To be able to say that, and so that's why we are doing the things that we're trying to do to invest into that.
It's great.
Good morning. My name is Rich Hart. I am from Atlanta, Georgia. Echoing the same thing kind of Mr. Latoya said, we're just happy that we have a team that we can start building upon, and we talk about a lot. We've had dreams and aspirations, and you see the plans over here for the Navarre store. It's just great to have the opportunity to begin to build. And I would say one of the things I like about this team is that there's a lot of different personalities, and that's what you want in business. You don't want a lot of A-type people, a lot of B-type people. You have to have a different, and I think Mr. Bill had talked about the different personalities and what it takes and how you build a team with different personalities, and you don't just continue to have thousands of introverts and one extrovert. You want to have a good array of people. So And definitely one of the things we're grateful for is just to actually starting to see our dream or our thoughts and aspirations begin to come true. Because, I mean, you'd be surprised at how this thing all started. Was basically a conversation between LaToya and I driving down for a district meeting many years ago, and to see it start to come to fruition, it's powerful, and it's God's grace, so we're appreciative of it.
I'm Michelle Mim. I'm from Muncie, Indiana. One thing I like about the team is I'm new to it, so it's new.
Nice.
And seems to be growing and going the right way, from what I can tell from everything I've been. They're involved, which is really awesome. And I'm grateful for just waking up this morning.
That's awesome. Thanks. Well, thanks for sharing. I want to understand what your thoughts are. Think about the best manager you've ever had, you've worked for, best boss you ever worked for. Describe them, or her. What do they look like? Professional? Hands-on? Do you need a pen?
No.
Oh, just making sure you have one. No, just want to make sure you have one. You're good. Just making sure. That was not an indictment.
Open-minded.
Pardon?
Like open-minded.
Open-minded? Anything
Good
else?
at communicating.
Good at communicating?
I mean, I think you want to have a leader that can lead and get the team to follow you. Always bring a parallel to whether Hitler was a good leader or not, and that it always draws a decent conversation. And right, wrong, or indifferent, whether Hitler morality was a high morale or not, he was able to get thousands of people to follow him. So at the end of the day, he was a good leader, and that's what it takes. It takes you guys having people to follow you. If no one follows you, you could be the best smoothie maker,
Correct.
the best order taker, but if no one's following you, it is almost purposeless. So.
Correct. And who will you work harder for? Someone that you respect and you like, or someone that yells at you and is angry at you and does stupid stuff? You know, I would agree, Hitler recruited half the world to follow him, to do crazy stuff, right?
Crazy stuff?
Would you have wanted to work for him? You know what he did before D-Day invasion? He started executing his generals. If you don't know. Actually, the generals that were on the D-Day invasion, we were in Germany, the people on the D-Day invasion, all the leaders left for the vacation because they were pretty sure that Europe was coming. So they just left for the weekend so they could have culpable deniability. Yeah, what you didn't say was somebody who yells at you, someone who's angry at you all the time, who complains about who you are, who criticizes your weaknesses and is not grateful for who you are. But I would agree with you. I joke a lot, you know. If you want to know if you're a leader, do you know how to tell? Oh, look behind you. If there's no one leading, then you need to grow in who you are, because your personality doesn't dictate whether you're a good leader or not. It just dictates how you will lead, not if you'll lead. And so the more you can invest in your own personal growth, the better you are. Biggest problem in managing people is this: we have conflict. We have personality differences. We have a lot of issues. We have biases that we live out of. Where you grew up, where you lived, your personality, your sex, your personality, your DNA, where you lived, inner city, lower income, upper income, all of those come into effect. And we have about 120 biases that you don't even know about, and we'll talk about that too. We think there are three big things in conflict. First is personality. This accounts for 49% of all conflict. You hear that? 1/2 of all conflict is simply, you're different than I am and I don't like it. That's it. The second is biases. We'll talk about that. And the third is neuroscience. Once I know who I am and I know these biases, how do I then regulate, not as a child, but as an adult, as a mature person? This is we use an assessment called Clifton Strengths Finders. Most assessments group you into about 16 people, right? So that means if I did an assessment like a DISC assessment, you're the same as every American. Your personality is the same as every American, because there's about 7.5 billion people in the world, right? You think that's true? Yeah, no, it's ridiculous. Clifton's on the other side will put you at your front door. It'll tell you exactly who you are, why you're probably having conflict, how your personality comes out great, how it comes off really crappy, how people don't like how your personality is, and you can start to learn, oh, when I'm, like I have a Mustang, right? So it'll do about 150. right? I've not got it there, but pretty close. And but if I'm in a school zone, I have to ride the brake, because if I just let it go, it'll do 25 always in a 15, right? So you kind of got to ride the brake all the time. If I were to say, well, my Mustang, that's just who I am, and I just shove on the gas pedal, I'm going to get tickets everywhere I go, right? Your personality is like that too. It's true, there's part of you that's who I am that's awesome and fantastic and super fast. And there's part of you, when you don't regulate, it comes across like a punch in the face to other people. Does that make sense? And so that's why, as you get older, most people go through one of two things. You know people that are in their 80s, 90s that you like being around? Are they grumpy and mean and nasty all the time when you talk to them? No, they're kind. They're thankful. They're happy to be alive. They like being around you. They don't talk all the time. They let you talk. They ask you questions, right? Or you have Grumpy Old Men, the movie, right? Have you seen that? Dude, you can't stand to be around these dudes. Every day, you get to choose, every day. Are you going to continue to be thankful, happy, positive, look at these problems as opportunities? Or are you going to see every opportunity as I'm being screwed, the world's out to get me, everybody hates me, you don't like me? Well, you can live there, but you end up like Walter Matthau. Or you can end up like the people on Cocoon. Life is great, awesome, wonderful, right? And that's all about your choice, how you perceive the information that's coming at you. This is me, and on this assessment, yellow is influencing, blue is relational themes, green is getting stuff done, and red is thinking themes. This is my buddy, Jordan Bowen. He doesn't mind if I share. So he's one of my best friends, bro. He runs this gym. I've been mentoring him for almost 8 years, 10 years now probably, and helped him expand his business to these different gyms that he's doing. But we have some conflict because he and I are different. Like, I have this thing called woo, which means I like meeting people. I like to win people over to stuff. Sales is easy for me. He hates it. He let Jesse do that, right? You go talk to him. I don't want to talk to him. But it also causes some conflict with us sometimes. He has this thing, I have this thing called includer and positivity, which means I like to be included. If he has a party, I want him to invite me, even if I can't come. I don't want him to decide for me. And I have to keep reminding him, don't decide for me. It kind of hurts my feelings. When he doesn't do that, I know now he's not doing it on purpose. I have to kind of walk myself off the ledge and remind him, bro, could you at least ask me when you're doing stuff? Don't make decisions. Well, I didn't think you'd want to come. Again, could you just ask me? He has phobia. He has fear. I have FOMO, right? Fear of missing out. He has phobia. He has fear of being included. So I know I'll have events, and I won't invite him on purpose because he doesn't really need beer. I don't think he'll want to come. And the next day or two, I'll go, hey, man, I had this thing on Sunday. I didn't think you'd want to come, so I didn't invite you. He's like, thank you. That is so cool. Isn't that funny? Because he got phobia, fear of being included. If he did that to me, it hurt my feelings. Yeah. If I did what he does, it hurts my feelings. So guess what? That's a constant rub. So how do I fix that? One is understanding. Oh, it's who he is. If I'm left-handed and he's right-handed and we sit down at a table, we're always going to bang tables. Why don't we just switch seats, right? The understanding that you're never going to change your left hand, and that's not a problem. That's a good thing. You're left-handed. That's awesome. Let's just switch seats. That's what personality is like. But most personality tests can't pinpoint it, so you just think this person's crazy all the time. I like to compete. I have competition. I love it. One of the girls there, because she likes to compete, right? And she's strong. She's a little faster than I am, so I really like it. I can't compete with my wife. She doesn't like it. It doesn't encourage her. It makes her mad, right? So these personality tests are really helpful. It's one of the things we do because they help you identify, especially on a team, exactly why you're having conflict. Then you get to decide, am I going to regulate and choose to see you as a human, as a valuable contributor to the world, and do I like your strengths even though I don't have them? Or will I make fun of you and hurt your feelings all the time, right? And try to get you to change. It's a crazy stat. 89% of employees experience conflict on a daily basis. 49% of all conflict is based on personality difference. In this setting, who's right, the guy or the young lady? It's just, it's same data, right? They're viewing it across the table. Who's right? Both are right. Do you think they're going to see each other as being right? What are they going to do instead? The guy's going to stand over here and, how in the, what are you talking about? Clearly, this is a 6. What are you thinking? And you can see this when people who have really strong thinking themes, who are concrete, who analyze information and make decisions by data, right? And women tend to be a little more empathetic in general. And women tend to make more value decisions, right? So she's going to be like, bro, can you not understand? You're going to jam the whole team up. We got to have people. Well, but you don't understand. This is just business. This is the way it is. You just cut these people because of whatever. So they're going to stand and debate this all day long. And how are they going to fix this? Do you think this is going to go away without understanding? If I'm frustrated with this young lady who's convinced I'm totally screwed, I'm totally an idiot, what's the best way to solve this misunderstanding of the bias that I stand out of, do you think? Yeah, should I force her to my side? Hey, just force her to see my point of view? Is that the best way to do that? Oh, how could I do that? Yeah, and if I explain, that fixed the issues in our culture, right? We explain the problems with all our different social issues, and it's good. Did that solve it? No, let me show you what I would do now. As a manager, now I know this information. Hey, Susie, we'll say she's Susie. I'm Tom. Susie, can I ask you a question? Do you see this as a 6? Of course I do. Don't you see that as a 6? Well, I understand how you could see that as a 6. Totally. Yeah, that data makes sense to me from your perspective. Do you mind if I show you how I see it from my perspective? And if she says no, I'm like, okay, done deal. I'm done with the conversation because I know we're at an impasse because she won't listen. But if she's willing to listen, then I'll say, well, come to my side, please. Now look, from my perspective, do you see how this is important? And what I would first do is, I'm going to show you this, is I'm going to validate, oh, well, you see this data and it seems like you think we're hurting people because of these things that we're doing. I understand that. That's a valid feeling. I understand that that's a problem. I agree with you that that's an issue. Let's think this through. How can we help you do this? Now, I've validated who she is, what she thinks, her opinion, and now she's much more willing to see things from my side as well. And what if we still can't agree? What do we do? Whoever's in charge gets the 1% decision, right? If you think you're leadership, you get a 1% decision. Somebody has to be in charge, right? So somebody has to make a final decision if we can't agree. But best decisions are if we can come to a neutral ground. Let's make a decision that puts both values into place and make our best effort. It doesn't mean you won't disagree with people, but does it matter to you guys if they make a decision whether you're heard or not if you don't agree with them? Which would you rather do? Do what I told you, or be heard, and they say, I understand, I hear what you're saying, we can't do that at this point. Which do you like better? Dude, anybody, all of us. I always, if you tell me why, even if I completely disagree. Okay, if you explain why we're doing this, I don't agree, but I don't pay the bills, right? I don't pay the bills. And, in some ways too, you guys put a lot of money at risk. You guys haven't. They employed you. They put a lot of money at risk, and you're not doing that. So they take risks, so they should get paid more. Managers take more risks than employees, so they should get paid more. That's just the way it is. Does it make sense? And you don't have to agree with me. I'm just saying that's, in business, that's typically what happens. Biases, there's 120 known biases. Everybody has. You guys ever go past the first page on Google? See?
Not often.
No, because you know why? Because top 10 results are right. And the first 4 or 5 now are all ads. Actually, now I scroll past the ads, and then there's usually only 3 or 4 that are actual data points. Most people won't go past page 2. And if I go to your computer and do a search on any known subject, and I do it on my computer, or I do it on your computer, or I do it on your computer, you know what? They're completely different, because we're tunneled. Google's teaching us to tunnel and not have other opinions. There's another bias. You guys put a price and then reduce the price and have people do that, right? You do sales. Why do you do that? Do you know? It's called an anchoring bias. Hey, I got coaching. It's $10,000. Whoa, that's a lot. It is, but I'm gonna give you a discount to $49.99. The first number you hear always anchors your mind, and then you can give a discount, and people almost always feel like they're getting a deal. Even if you wanted to sell it at $49.99, doesn't matter. You always bring a price higher than what the sale price is, and the sale price is usually what you want to sell it for. Make sense? So these biases are good and bad. But if you know it, even though I know that, I still don't want to pay $1.05 for 99 cents. I'd rather pay 99 cents than $1.05. Even though I tell myself it's $1, it still makes my brain think it's not $1. Isn't that funny? So there's anchoring biases. There's a thing called Tuckmans stage of development. So you guys are pretty new, right? How long have you guys been a team?
Over 2.5 years.
Oh, so wow.
Two and a half, about a month, couple weeks, year.
Okay, so you got different stages, right? So you guys are really still in this because every time you add a team member, you go back here,
That's exactly right.
right? So about 6 months, you guys have done this, right? You meet somebody new, you really like them, they're super cool, and about 4 or 5 months, you start to think, dude, this person's a jerk. I cannot stand this person. And on a team, what happens is the teams start to storm. They start to fight because you have a difference of opinion about all kinds of things, and you have different biases, and you have personality, and I don't like it, and we keep jamming each other up. And rather, like you said, the first, I try to keep pulling you to my side all the time, right? That's most people's opinion. I'll just drag you to my side. This is right. Just figure it out. As a manager, you almost always have to figure out how to break through that tendency, find a common language for personality difference. This is the number one thing you need. That's why assessments are super helpful, because if I know you, then I'm much more likely to understand you and accept and like who you are. And then those assessments can break through to help the team to norm, perform, and adjourn, if you ever adjourn. Every time you add a team member, you kind of get stuck back over here again. And so getting to know each other, doing stuff like this, having fun together, doing assessments, asking people questions, asking each other, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? What do you think about that? And try to have an open environment where you can actually have conversations about tough things. It's a good thing. It's okay. Contrary to our culture, what our culture says, right? Because, you know, if I don't agree with you, what do? Let's unfriend you. Oh, you said something I don't like? Unfriend. You know who does that? 5-year-olds. 5-year-olds. That's childish behavior. We'll talk about that. Crazy stat, right? 70% of the variation between great workplace engagement and lousy workplace engagement can be you guys. If someone if you have high turnover rates, what's this say the most likely cause is? It's either the owner pushing their values that aren't helpful or aren't creating a culture that people want to work for, or it's the manager, how they manage and execute. You know, because you guys have these values you want for the workplace, and then y'all get to execute those values. So as a warrant officer, I was a platoon leader. If I went into my commander's office and said, and we had an argument, hey, we're going to do this. I don't agree. My job is not agree. That's a dumb idea. I don't think we should do that. I'm blah, blah, blah. If we come to an agreement and I can't figure out how to agree with him and he says, I don't care, do what I said. Okay. I walk out and the guys go, hey, what are we going to do? I've decided we're doing this. Is the captain making you do that? No. My decision. Because my job is always support and honor the values of the person above me. If you want your subordinates to honor you, they'll see that if you honor them. Period. If you undermine their authority, your employees will undermine your authority. That's why.
Bill, if you don't mind, I want to piggyback on that. So one of the things that I think Bill is saying, and I want to hone in on specifically, is and I'm always going to say if Mr. Torrey asks you to do something. So if there's a rule or something that Mr. Torrey is asking you to do, I would much rather you not say, hey, you better do it because Mr. Torrey. No, it needs to come from you guys, right? And that's exactly what he's saying here. So if it's like, hey, make sure we don't cut the lights off before 9 o'clock and blah, blah, blah. It shouldn't be, hey, guys, we don't want Mr. Torrey. No, it's I want to make sure that you guys don't cut that light off. This is a rule or requirement. It's not Mr. Rich, Mr. Torrey, or now if you have to get into a situation, and I call it the big bad corporate. If it's like, hey, well, why do we have to do this? Hey, man, corporate. Sometimes you have to say, hey, well, this
corporate
is what
says.
corporate's telling us to do, right?
Because we're Smoothie King.
Right. That's why you get your team to not be upset with you. Hey, this is kind of, but at the same time, if it's something that's a rule and a requirement that you guys that we're saying we're pushing down, it's best that it comes from you guys and not, hey, don't let Miss Rich or Mr. Torrey see you guys. No, let's do the right thing. It's the right thing to do. Not don't let Mr. Torrey catch you. And I know sometimes we kind of do that. So I want to.
It's hard not to, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be a bad guy. I want you to be a bad guy. You know?
Yeah,
I even help my wife. She just has harmony, so she doesn't like to be the bad guy, right? So sometimes I'm like, just tell him I told you can't do that. Yeah. Hey, my husband said I can't do that.
There you go.
You let your husband tell you stuff? Yeah. Apparently. Right?
And then what happens to what I've noticed when we do it'll be more so they're only not doing it if I'm around.
Right.
Correct.
Versus
Correct.
it being the culture of the store, right? Whether you around or you know, this is now the standard. So that, you know, that makes sense. Well, we want to make sure that.
From my perspective, I don't know what y'all want, or I don't know what your options for them are. Wouldn't you want to own a store one day? Wouldn't it be great to own a store one day? If you're managing, wouldn't it be able to step up to do the next thing? No, it might. You might think it's amazing. Maybe not. Too stressful. Well, unless, you know where stress comes from? Not enough cycles. I was a pilot, right? So first couple flights, well, I'm afraid of heights too, so it was not cool. But I got to regulate a lot when I was young. You know, okay, we're good. And that whole feeling of puke's going to go away. Every day they turn the engine off 7 or 8 times every day. First few times you do that, you're like, engine off, you're like, what are you doing? You're trying to kill us? Well, apparently, you know. They do that 1,000 times. By the time you leave flight, cool, engine failure, yeah, okay, whatever, we're going to land right there, blah, blah, blah. It's no big deal.
Yeah.
It's scary because it's new.
Yeah.
And the more cycles you get, you will, if you think about what you could have done personal development in the next year, you'll way overshoot. If you think about what development you could get in the next 10 years, you'll way undershoot. Think about your last 10 years. How old were you, if you don't mind me asking? What has happened in the last 10 years? Think about how much you've grown in the last 10 years. And as we get older, we tend to accelerate our growth because all of our past experiences start to compound. And you don't need to own a store. But if you think about it, if she's not there and she walks in, what should change? Nothing.
Nothing.
If she walks in, it's like cop pulls up behind me doing 55. Hey, bro, how you doing? Good to know you. No, my taillight's not out. Thank you.
I want to say something that Bill brought up this email we got yesterday. It says current team members who have, and this is from corporate, current team members who have worked for Smoothie King in the Smoothie King system for at least 3 years, who are financially eligible to open a new store, or who have been existing franchise owners as a financial sponsor, shall receive 50% off their initial franchise fee.
Wow.
So this is basically saying
When do I work for
help
you?
your SK team members own their own location today. And so that's motivation. Again, if you don't want to do it, you don't want to do it. But if it's motivation for you to, if you do want to do it, and it's basically saying you work in the system for 3 years, you 50% off your initial franchise fee, and we would be like a sponsor to you to help you open up your own store. And so it's pretty cool. But he just sent that yesterday, and it's motivation for the team members to want to have a bigger vision and be part of it. So it's pretty cool.
Did you guys think you'd own a franchise 10 years ago?
No. Not even 2 years ago.
3 years ago, I didn't think I'd own a business. I thought it was a part-time gig, and I doubled my money, and then I'll probably double my money this year, and I'm hoping to double next year, you know, so you never know. Literally never thought I'd open one, but I thought, why not? I woke up one morning, I was like, I should open a business. This is working out. It's kind of cool. This is a crazy stat. This is why you really want to be good managers. You hire somebody, let them work for 6 months, and they leave. If you're paying them 30%, if you're paying $30,000, I don't know what you pay them. Let's say you pay them $30,000 a year. It's going to cost you $45,000 to replace them. It's going to at least $15,000 to replace them. So $2,000 of coaching compared to losing an employee is nothing. And people don't invest in their people. They just don't. Until people keep leaving. And they start to figure out, what's wrong with these people? And, well, Tom, the problem could be here. Mid-level managers, at worst, 100%, can go up to 150% for managers to replace you guys. About 100% of your salary, whatever they're paying you. It's about what it'll cost to replace you. Because you think about it, you leave, now you got to train somebody, and they can't just step into managing as a Smoothie King. They probably got to work as an employee for a while. Or you got to pull in somebody who's already working there. Maybe they're not as good as you are, actually. Maybe they suck more, you know. And then someone else has to train you, cost them time, cost them effort, cost them money. Not counting, it's really hard to find employees these days because everybody quit and then people don't want to come back. So it's good to invest in each other, teammates, have a really strong team. And when you have conflict, assume that's an opportunity, right? If you guys keep having conflict from employees, what should you do? What's the best source you can think of? Ask them to help figure out, what do we do here? I don't know what to do. Be quick When you don't know what to do, be quick to ask. And then own whatever decisions you make. You make a decision, my decision. I own it. My son, when he was little, I taught him, if you break something, you do something wrong, you come tell me. You won't get punished for it. You may have to clean up the mess. You may have to earn the money back for this thing you broke. Never get punished. So he'd run in and be like, Dad, I broke the lamp. We got to tell Mom because we'll get in trouble. Come on, because I didn't care, but she cared. So you want to own it. What do you think your biggest challenge in leadership for your guys' team is currently?
Biggest challenge?
Yeah.
I think the biggest challenge right now is just getting, in the right spot situated because we never had a team. So that's the first biggest challenge, getting everything set.
Okay.
Like a standard set.
Like processes and standards?
Yeah, I feel like right as of now.
That's okay.
No wrong answer.
It's a good answer. That's most companies, processes are the biggest issue because you have 30 people doing 30 different things. And people buy consistency. You know why they buy from Smoothie King? Because they went, oh, I had Smoothie King before and I want it. And then you have a strawberry banana smoothie and you come to your place and it's different. I'm not sure I'm going to go back. If I go to Beauchamp's, right, and I go 4 times, have the same meal and get 4 different meals, I'm going to not go back there, especially because it's a lot of money, right? So it better be exactly like it was before. So people buy consistency. So you want a consistent product. That's why processes are really important. And if you guys change management throughout the days or on different days and people come up under you, it's for the other reason you want consistency among the team. Your personality is different. You're going to manage different. But in general, the rules should be the same. And if there's a rule that's not working right, I highly encourage you to talk about it. Work it out. If you're frustrated, talk about it. Don't stuff it, right? We're going to talk about that in a minute. Any other big challenges you guys think you have? You don't know because you just got here, right? What do you think? Nothing? No challenges? Everyone loves each other. No one ever argues. There's no frustrations.
I think our biggest thing is managing the personalities, equipping ourselves to be able to, when there's a conflict, manage through the conflict.
Okay.
I think our biggest leadership is just we have so many different personalities that are going to come in and out of the store from a team member standpoint, and we can't treat everybody the exact same.
You can't. Well, and you shouldn't. You should have standards that you flex off of to help adjust to each personality. And some people won't like doing that. There's some people that have this thing called consistency, like rules. Everybody has to be treated the same. Do they have rules? Germans are highly structured rule people. When you think about neuroscience, we're going to talk about this today mostly. Neuroscience is how your brain works, right? So when you wake up in the morning, are you instantly ready to go? Or does it take a few minutes for your brain to kind of boot up, right? So you wake up, yeah, it takes me 3 hours, right? Well, I'm a morning person, a 10:30 in the morning kind of person. But I get up at 5 most days. I got up at 4:30 this morning, but I don't really like it. But when you wake up, your brain, what it does, you wake up and your brain looks around and looks, do I belong to somebody, right? So one of the first things I do when I wake up is I'm married, been married 30-some years. I'll reach over and touch my wife, right? Because I want to know I'm connected. I want to make sure she's around. Did she leave the bed? Is she around? She out walking the dog. And if I wake up and touch her and she goes, would that feel good to you guys? If it was your spouse? No, it actually creates loss and loneliness. It hurts. On the other hand, if I wake up and I touch her and she's like, oh, hey, how you doing? It creates belonging. This is just the base level of your brain. It's the first level deep inside of you called your thalamus. Isn't that weird? So one of the things, can I touch your shoulder? It's all right. At the gym, I do this all the time. Hey, how you doing? You doing all right? Because when you touch somebody, not that you should touch them inappropriately, when you touch somebody, it brings connection. So at the gym, one of the first things, if you came in and I was a coach for a while, if you did workouts, I would touch you. Just on your shoulder, just let you know. Because if the first time I go to correct you, or I need you to do something, is I touch your back or something, you think, what is wrong with this old weird, creepy dude? Don't touch me, right? So I do this because we break down. Notice I probably shook every one of your hands because I want to break down that 3-foot barrier. Does that make sense? And it brings connection. You can do that not just by touching, you can do it simply by being grateful. Hey, thank you for letting me do this. Hey, thank you for showing up today. Hey, thanks for getting up in the morning and coming and being part of the team. It feels good, right? the more you bring gratitude onto the team and onto each other, and specifically look for things you're grateful for that person, the more belonging you create. If a guy or a gal comes to work and they're hard to get at work, and they show up one day on time, what should you be grateful for?
Write that on the calendar.
Dude, praise God, you made it on time. Because you want to affirm actions that you want to have, and if they show up, I don't know what your policies are, but if I were working and you show up a minute late, you're docked. You're not working. You go sit out in the thing for 15 minutes. You're not working. 1 minute late. You are on time. You're early or you're late. That's it. I don't know how you do that, but all of you as managers should know. If someone's late, there's a policy. This is the policy, and the policy is negative. It's not fun. But it's not, hey, you're a turd. Why can't you get here on time? You're always like this. Because that's not true. So occasionally, once out of 30 days, they come on time. So they're not always late. But now if I have a policy and you break it and I just execute the policy, no problem, right? Hey, I don't like that. I got docked 15 minutes. Great, no problem. I don't like it either, so why don't we show up on time? And I won't. Do I get more money if I show up early? No. Show up on time, leave on time, you get money, right? If you work really hard, harder than your coworkers, I'm gonna pay you an extra hour you're not even working for. Whatever you can do legally. I don't know how it works. But I'm gonna incentivize hard work, and I'm gonna de-incentivize lazy work. So lazy work, probably gonna mop the floors a lot. Hard work, you're gonna get to do the position you prefer to do. So you want to do that as leaders to help not punish people by yelling at them, because we said that's not a great leadership style, right? Or making fun of them, or demonizing their personality, or calling into question their morality. Those are all really bad ways to lead. If people don't feel attached, gratitude is about the only way you can get them to attach to the team. Make sense? After you wake up, your brain looks and says, hey, am I experiencing anything good, bad, or scary? If I am, my brain locks and it's done. You've seen that, right? You walk in, see a snake, oh my God, what do I do about that? Remember I told you about flying? First time the engine failed, my amygdala said, this is scary, freeze. So that's what I did. The more times they failed the engine on me, my brain started to go, oh, we know what to do with that. I know what to do with that. I know what to do that. I know what to do with that. So I no longer freeze. I'm like, oh yeah, do that. That's what we do. Hey, we're safe. Let's not die, right? And then your brain goes up to this next level, attunement, which is a mutual mind. In the Army, we march. And we march because it makes you attuned. It's really weird. So when you do things together, you have fun together, you have hard times together, it attunes you as a team and builds your teamwork. And then you go up through the rest. If you're overwhelmed, the only way to get your brain to not lock is to have somebody, either yourself, kind of figure out how to calm yourself. Like you've been really angry and you stayed angry for hours and hours. Your brain was only supposed to stay angry for about 30 seconds to 2 minutes. That's it. So if you're angry and anxious and locked onto something, I'm going to show you how to get rid of that. Well, I'm going to show you how to fix it if you want to do that. If your brain gets locked on any of these levels, we're going to talk about this, half your brain actually turns off. You have these RC circuits. So look at this little card I gave you. And on the back, if you're currently feeling, or if you're during the day, you start to feel like, I want to make this problem, person, or feeling going away, half your brain, your right side of your brain, is probably off. And which means I don't no longer want to be relational with you. I just want you to go away, or I want to fix this, or I want to break this, I want to solve. The left side of your brain says, I want to fix this problem. If you think, I don't want to listen to what others feel or say, I don't care, right? You get that, right? I got the hand. My mind's locked onto something that's really upsetting and I can't let it go. I don't want to be connected to this person that I usually like. I just want to get away, fight, flight, or freeze. Or I more aggressively interrogate, judge, or try to fix the other person. What's happened is, you guys, when you meet somebody, you're your best you, right? Hey, how you guys doing? You guys doing all right? Yeah, right? Because we tend to want to be liked by other people. After you've been around people for a while, you're like, whatever, you're just such a jerk. And when you start to feel what's on the card, for any reason, part of your brain's turned off. Because what happens is, if we have a fight, I come in and you jump on me, and I work for you, you jump on me, I'm like, rah! If I'm not careful, what will I do? because half my brain is turned off, and the left side of my brain says, that is a problem. Let me fix that. And if I'm not very careful, I'll pick up my bat and I will start swinging for the fences. And I might even win the argument, right? Oh, you think so? Well, let me tell you. You guys have never had this happen, right? Never had conflict like this. Oh, well, I'll tell you, blah, 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 blah. Ha! Showed him. Ah. Right? And then 2 minutes to 3 days later, you wake up and go, oh, I think I just lost my job. Oh, no. Right? When we have an interaction, and I think you interact with me like a 1, and I respond like a 10, what's that tell you? Am I just a jerk? What should it tell you? Is that normal, right? Like if I touch your shoulder, is it okay? And you're like, whoa, what are you doing? Don't touch my shoulder. What should that tell you?
Something may be going on.
Something's wrong. Well, I'm not right here. And probably not that I touched your shoulder. There's probably emotional pain. Either, oh, maybe she had a shot. Maybe her arm hurts. Maybe I shouldn't touch her. Maybe she broke her arm. Maybe it's in a sling and I didn't see it. So there's something physical or there's some emotional thing that's causing that, right? You touch somebody, they go, like, interesting. Probably had abuse in the past. I had a dog that certain type of people walk in the house and it would just go crazy because somebody probably beat it. You know, it was a shelter dog. When this happens, if you want to turn your brain back on, well, let me tell you this. So, what's that? I'll just go past it. This is just to say we need mature leaders. We have most of our leaders act like this, and we're going to see this, right? When your brain turns off, one of 3 things happen, and you probably know what you do. You have conflict. What do? Do you possum? Like, I'm not going to talk to him anymore. Just, whatever. Okay, yes, sir, whatever. Sure, that's possuming. Because you don't feel that way. You actually want to engage. Why do we do that? Why do we possum? What are we afraid of?
The conflict.
Yeah, I'm afraid of conflict. And I might do what I want to do is blow it back up on you. I want to solve this problem, right? And depending on your personality, you might tend to stuff because that's who you are. You might hate conflict. You may not have learned to deal with conflict or whatever. The next, if you stuff long enough and you have that same interaction over and over and over, you will most likely become a predator. You will do what I said I do in the first. I tend to attack. Like, oh, that's how it is? Oh, okay, let's bring it. I'll win this argument. That's not a good way to do things. Because like snakes, predators deny, they accuse, they make attacks, they attack people, and they boast. When we have a disagreement, the best way to disagree is to talk about it. Talk about the facts, the emotions, the data, all that stuff. In our current culture, what happens if I don't agree with you is we make ad hominem attacks. Oh, I don't agree. You're a vile, evil person. I just said I don't like smoothies. Come on. Well, you're a terrible person. You're morally corrupt. Okay, I just don't like smoothies. The third way you can respond is to be a protector. I want to figure out how to protect you from me because I have some bad talents. Or I have some ways my talents are not good. I want to protect me from you. You do some things I don't appreciate. So I'm going to tell you, hey, when you do this, could we find a different way to do this? And I want to protect others when they're fighting. I want to try to step in and not fix it, but help them reconcile. You know, if you have teammates, if you have a problem with her and you go to him and tell him that you have a problem with her, what should he do? Because that's gossip, right? Well, I have a problem with you, and I go tell LaToya. What should she tell me to do?
Talk to you.
When did you talk? When are you going to talk to him about this? Well, I didn't tell him about this. Okay, you have till Friday. And if you don't tell him about Friday, I'm going to tell him you got a problem with him. What? No gossip. Gossip is not allowed. Sorry. If you're going to build him up, then come tell me all the day long. If you're going to come help you work through how to talk to him about this, all day long. If you're going to come complain that you don't like him, I'm going to tell you to go tell him, and if you don't, I'm going to tell him. I'm not going to step in the middle. It's the best way to resolve conflict. Or you say, oh, really? Come on. Hey, Bill, you got to talk to, is it Eric? Rich, you got to talk to Rich. I don't talk to Rich. Well, you shouldn't have told me about it. Because then they'll stop talking to you about it. They'll stop gossiping. And as managers, you're going to have this. You're going to have all kinds of going on. The way you fix it is you don't allow it, right? You protect the team from people who gossip. Gossip is like murder. It will corrupt the team, guaranteed. And we like to do it because it's fun, right? look at these questions and see if, as you're managing, as you're helping people, do you experience any of these things? Do you do any of these things? I have to say it out loud. So I learned about this neuroscience about 4 or 5 years ago, and I read this list, and I was like, crap. I'm a child. By the age of 3, you can teach a child not to respond like this. When they get like that, what you do is you tell them, hey, calm down. What are you doing? Calm down. Come sit down. Calm down. Use your words. Take some breaths. You're good. What's going on? What are you feeling? How are you doing? You all right? What's going on? So what are you going to do? And you help them work it through. That's what parenting is about. Parenting, if a parent acts like a child, you'll damage your child. You blow up on your child every time they blow up, the crazy just keeps going, right? There are probably no bad kids when they're little. They're just bad parents. It's bad training. My dog does not jump on me, and my son did not either, because I trained him. You know, if your child, if you see somebody give a child a smoothie and they're like, ah, and they melt down, and they're 6, there's a solution for that. Just saying. Oh, good. Throw that away. You don't appreciate it? Throw it away. No big deal. My son learned not to do that. This is what you're looking for in your mature leadership. Win-win solutions. You have a conflict, look for a win-win solution. You're looking to solve collaboratively. If you can't fix the problem, find somebody to help you. You guys have a lot of knowledge on the team. Just out of your personality, out of your life experiences. Go ask somebody, well, what would you do? If you don't like that answer, ask him, well, what would you do? I don't like that answer. What would you do? Latoya, what would you do? Find solutions. If you need it, you got my number. Call me. I'll help you. Just call me. I'll help you. I don't care. If I got the margin, be glad to help you. Create belonging. Gratitude, 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 right? And is it like me to take the good of the team into consideration, or do you just think about yourself all the time? Do you help others? Do you look at the calendar schedules and think, well, if you need to be off, do I help you be off if you can, and so I can be off when I can? Or do I think, no, I'll get mine. If you get mine, the team will suffer greatly. You always want to try to put your self needs, important, and the team's need as equally. Not more important, equally important. Because some people will just give and give and give and they get angry. So you want equality in those two things, right? I want to show you something. So assume you get frustrated. Customer comes in and like blows up. What's the first thing you should do? And you're the only team manager. You're the only manager in the store. What do? Breathe, right? So you're like, just a second. Okay, so calm down. Just a second. I'll be right with you. And while you're standing there and they're talking, lock onto their left eye and smile. Because if you look at their eyes, it's really weird. It connects you to the relational part of who you are. And if you lock onto their eye and smile, and whatever they're doing, just do what they're doing and just smile at them and just let them talk. And while they're doing that, start breathing. Breathe in. Practice with me. We're just going to do this for a minute or two and I'll show you. Ready? Ready, go. We're going to breathe in for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, in for 4, and hold for 4. In. So keep talking. Go say more. How does that make you feel? So what exactly happened? So what I'm hearing you saying is you're angry. Yeah, you drove 20 minutes and came back and had the wrong shake. I understand. That seems like a terrible thing. And you just keep breathing. Breathe in for 4, hold for 4, and let them talk. And then you move into what I started to do. Validate. It sounds like you're angry. Can you help me understand, man? It seems like there's a lot of energy here. What's going on? Let them talk. Validate. Validate with it. Man, I'm pissed. I got here, I got 3 smoothies, and I drove 20 minutes. It's the wrong ones, and I can't believe it. Now I'm late, and I'm going to be like, wow, that seems hard. Wow, I totally and calm down. Keep yourself calm. Because if you respond back, you're probably going to blow up on them, right? So just keep, I use my fingers. If you ever saw Mile 13, I think the name of the movie was, it was a Marky Mark movie, and they're like beating on this dude who's a special, he's whatever. Yeah, right. And you can see him doing that. He's getting punished. And actually, this is how I hate shots, but I have to take shots every week now because I'm old, right? I'm 56. Well, it is what it is. And I hate shots because I used to get shots when I was little. I hate them. But I've reprogrammed my brain. My wife gives me this shot, and I just breathe. I do what we've been doing. I like shots. 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 So now she's like, time for a shot. It's like, okay, whatever. Yeah, do it. I don't really like it, but I like it. I like it. I like it. And I've reprogrammed. So it's not this 9 anymore. It's really like a 1 or 2. But a year ago, it was a 9. I'm like, oh my God, I got to get my blood drawn. And I hate doing this. And, and I don't tell myself things that I don't want to be true anymore, right? I understand this must be hard. You comfort. It must be hard, man. I'm really sorry that you drove all the way and we made this mistake. We own it. We're really sorry. We apologize. What could we do to make it right? Is there any way we can fix this? I don't know what you guys do. I would recommend. What can you do to make us right? And if it's something that's reasonable, that's within your guys' scope, you say, well, be glad to do that. If not, well, unfortunately we can't do that, but we could do this instead. There's never a no. There's always a yes. There's always a yes. Well, we can't, you need to give me $50. Well, I understand that. That would be a great solution. Unfortunately, as a manager, I don't have the power to do that. But what I could do, and what I'd like to do, how about this? No? Well, then how about this? No? Well, then how about this? Well, none of those solve my problem. I'm really sorry. I'm not sure what else I could do. If there's a dish, what would you recommend? What would you want us to do? What would be fair? It's a great word. What would be fair? Yeah. And they may tell you something, and if you can do it, you do it, and if you can't, you can't. But if you can't, you still say, well, it's still our mistake. I'm really sorry this happened. I apologize. I know it's really upsetting to you, and I wish I could fix this, but this is the best I can do to fix it, and I hope we could get your business again. And if you'd like, I don't know if you guys ever want them to talk to you, but that would be another option. I can always give you our owner's number, and they may be able to resolve this in a better way. And before they leave, even if you couldn't resolve it, in the future, is anything we could do to make this better? Other than I know not make mistakes, I got that. But is there any way we could keep your business? Nice. But in order for you to do that, and somebody's yelling at you, trust me, you better be you better be breathing, you better be regulated, because as soon as somebody yells at me, I try really hard not to blow up at people, but if I get unregulated, I am gonna win this conversation. Sorry. And you are not. I think I'm going to do you a favor, and you're going to think I'm a total ass, right? When you're doing this with anybody else, and this is on your sheets, validate, comfort, repattern. If you're doing this for yourself, if you find yourself upset, identify and say what's happening. Don't say, well, I feel insecure, but I shouldn't feel that way. No, I feel insecure. I'm afraid. I feel insecure. I might lose my job. Voice it to yourself or to someone else. Well, if someone else is with you, man, that sounds terrible. I understand. That sounds like you made a mistake and you're owning it, but you might get fired. That's terrible. Well, what could happen, right? Well, what's the worst thing? I guess they could fire me. Well, what would you do if you got fired? I guess I'd find another job. Well, where'd you go? I guess I'd go to Burger King. I don't know. There are other jobs you could get. Have you looked around? Right? Probably. Well, what's the best thing that happened? Well, they're usually pretty understanding people. They might understand and be okay with me, right? Maybe they won't. I don't know. What's the most likely thing to happen? Well, this happened 4 other times and I didn't fire them, so I should own up to it and tell them. And we figure it out. And if there's restitution I have to pay, I should just pay it. Well, if I jack something up, cost them $200, maybe I could pay them. I don't know. Whatever. We'll find a solution. What's the most likely thing to happen? And then the last thing you should always do, what am I gonna do? If you don't make a plan, your brain will lock onto it. And it'll just run. If you're a list maker, I'm a list guy. I like to achieve stuff. If I go to bed at night and I have 50 things, I was thinking about this today, and I didn't like how I had the thing. I was like, So I have a thing by my bed. I just write, okay, I'm gonna do these 5 changes tomorrow. I'll be fine. And then I go to sleep. Write it out, right? If you need it, get somebody else. Help them to write it out. If you've had, two of you guys if me and Rich got in a fight, right? We got in a tiff. And I'm off stewing about it. What should I do? Stew on it? Is that helpful? And what should I do? So we're going to go back, right? First, I'm going to do this, right? I'm going to start to breathe, calm down. If you do that for 2 minutes, even if you're livid, you're like over the top angry, if you do this for 2 minutes, it'll calm you down. And long breath. Hold, breathe out, hold. And do that for 2 minutes, it'll calm you down. You can also yawn. If you yawn to both sides, Yawn 5 or 6 times to the left, yawn 5 or 6 times to the right. Super weird, but it works. Calms you right back down because it engages the vagal nerve. The next thing, if before I had my conversation with him, I'm going to go back and try to figure out what we did earlier, right? What is something I like about Rich? He just pissed me off. But he's usually a pretty good manager. He's a pretty good boss. He actually lets me work here. He hired me. He's good to work for. Sometimes he's a jerk, but I like this about him. And I remember this time when we first started working, he was super nice. He was kind. He was this and this and this. You feel me calming down already, right? So you calm down. You think about the things I like. And then we go back and have this conversation. Hey, Rich. So when we were talking, I said something, and I thought it was a 1, and it seemed like a 9 to you. Can you help me understand? I really appreciate your comments to me, and I appreciate what you told me, but it kind of hurt my feelings, and I'm not sure why, but could you help me understand what your intent and why I thought what I said was a 1 became a 9 or a 10 to you? Oh, and he'll tell you, right? So I use, and the whole time, I'm going to be looking at his left eye. Because you know what happens when you get in an argument? When you're looking at somebody's face? You do this, right? You either verbally put your hand up and tell them, it's the thing, right? Hand to the face. Or we look away. Because we want to break contact. Because you look somebody in the left eye, it actually connects you deeply, emotionally, relationally. It's really weird. And we don't like it. So I don't be in that relationship, so I break contact. So while you're having that conversation, you just hold that left eye. And whatever they do, you smile, you mirror. Whatever they're doing, you mirror. And if he goes like this, I'll probably go, okay, so, and I'll probably close off. And if he's like, I might even go, so what are you doing? Because what happens when we mirror, I don't know if you know this, the reason when you first meet somebody, the reason you like them, they mirror what you're doing. You can do this across a room with people. Just whatever they're doing, do what they do. See, she started smiling as soon as I did it. Because your brain, you have these brain mirror neurons. That's why when you know, like if you have an intimate relationship, you go to kiss, you kind of lean in, and they lean in, and you lean in, because your brain is trying to figure out, do they do what I'm going to do? Because if they do, we're going to kiss. And so relationally, we do that as well. Just, we like it when people do what we do. So and this cake is, I use this all the time, all the time, all the time. I appreciate what you've told me. Thank you. Keep eye contact. I'll be kind. I'll be nice. I won't blow up on you. I'm not going to be angry. And I'm going to come with curiosity. When one of your employees does something stupid, hey, not, hey, what do you think you're doing? Or are you stupid? Well, apparently. Instead, hey, can you help me understand what you were thinking here? I'm not sure. And don't use the word why. When you're asking people stuff, don't ask why. Do you like it when somebody goes, hey, why'd you do that? It's interrogate. It's an interrogation. Instead, ask what or how. Questions? Thoughts? Takeaways? How can you use it? No idea.
I'm not thinking.
Yeah, that's
How can you use this in daily life? At work, do you guys think? Yeah.
Just how you told us to.
Okay. Well, what did you hear? What do you pick up?
Everything you said made sense.
Okay.
Especially the last part. Don't say why, say what. I mean, I've seen it.
Super helpful, right?
Yeah, I mean, why did you do that? What happened for this to happen? Well, we were busy, no. So it's just more effective. I mean, everything you said makes sense, so.
I think the why puts people in automatic defense mode.
It does.
And most of us don't have the tools to then reflect back to understand, well, when they're defensive, that's why they're blown up. Right? So you may ask a question, which is a why, and you're like, I'm at a 1. They respond at a 5, but we don't have the tools in the toolbox to recognize that. I was like, well, wait a minute, that wasn't a response that I was hoping for. Let me reel back versus now that 5, I turn back into an 8.
Correct. And it becomes a 12 and a 15. And here we go.
Yeah.
How many people does it take to fight?
1.
Well, really 2, right?
2, yeah.
So if I won't fight with you, are we going to fight? What if you're blowing up angry, mad at me? Stop. Actually, one of the things I liked about wrestling, I can keep you from hitting me. I'll just grab you, put you on the ground. Leave me alone. Okay, let you back up. Swing at you again. Don't do that to me. Be nice. Let you back up. Put some pain on you and let you back up. Emotionally, we need to do the same. You need to protect yourself from some people. Don't let people run over you. Hey, what are you doing? Don't yell at me. It's not appropriate. I worked in Congress for 2 years for a while, and this lady calls me and starts cursing me out. Click. Calls me right back. Hey, don't anybody answer the phone. Hey, ma'am, you need to stop. Click. Ma'am, you need to stop cursing. Must have been, 20 minutes. Finally, I said, if you don't stop cursing at me, I'm not going to answer the phone again. Click. Ma'am, stop. Hey, don't hang up. Don't say that word again. Well, I don't care. Calm down. She calmed down. And she was off the chain. So you just stop. Don't be a jerk. Stop. And don't use names. I don't appreciate what you're doing. Stop what you're doing. I don't appreciate it. And if you have a really angry customer, ma'am, please calm down. I understand you're angry. I understand. Let's have a rational conversation. You're good. I understand. I'm not frustrated with you. I want to hear your problem. I want to hear what's going on. But you have to calm down. So it's a really good way to diffuse and calm people. And just doing this can really irritate them, can also calm them down. I don't know if you know, if you take a baby and it's like freaking out, if you grab it, you know why we grab it? And you breathing with it. And as you slow your breathing down, it'll slow down. So we do the same with adults. A lot of adults never learned how to regulate. So if they didn't learn, then you get the pleasure of helping them figure it out. So.
I think what was really good about this is, I don't know about you all, but every time there was a point in Bill's presentation, I went to a past conflict that I had, whether it was, and believe it or not, most of these in the techniques, I thought of my son and how I'm dealing with him and how I can work better with him to get him to the goal that I feel that I want to get him to. So I'm sure as every situation came up here, there was conflicts you had in your mind before. I thought it was very good. I didn't think of my wife a lot doing these, so that made me feel good.
Toya, and then when she did this to me, and that one time she did this.
Right, that made me feel good. It was like I went my son first, then some stuff at work, and then I kind of just thought of some stuff with Mr. Toya. But I thought it was pretty good that these are tools that we have to use. Use the tools, and I'm glad that Bill didn't just give us information. He's given us tools and things to use. Conflict is going to come. It is inevitable. It will come several times a day, and it's how we solve that conflict is what's going to make us better managers and better people.
One other thing, if you're having conflict with somebody, let's say it's a 7. It's a pretty big conflict you're having with somebody. How do we normally solve? When do we normally embrace and interject in that conflict? Do you guys normally, when it's a 1, just go ahead and suck it up and just do it? Or do you wait till it becomes a 9, and now it's an untenable conversation?
The quicker it's addressed, I think.
Correct. Little things. If you want to wrestle a 150-pound alligator, possum and avoid stuff. Just let it build. And what will happen if it builds too much and you're unregulated, you'll have a fight. And then it will damage both of you because you can't unring that bell. You say something mean to somebody, it's forever. You punch somebody, it's forever. So be careful. I would encourage is, I'm learning to be quicker and quicker and quicker. Not to be overly sensitive, but if you hurt my feelings and I can't just get past it in a day or two, I'm probably going to say, hey, we had this conversation the other day, you got a minute? One other thing I would encourage you to do, if you don't do this, is give each other feedback, all of you guys. You can do, I didn't put it on it, it's called win feedback. Win well, improve never, right? And I would do this on a weekly basis. If you don't do it much, because remember, people leave, I'll explain it in a minute, people leave jobs because their boss criticizes their weaknesses and they don't compliment their contributions, right? So how can you, and you need, if I started working for Rich and I wanted to have a positive relationship with him, I need 4 positive interactions for every negative one, right? So you can see this. If you've had dating relationships for 6 months or a year, all you're doing is like, you walk on water, you're amazing, I love you, you're fantastic, you're awesome. So you're putting all this emotional capital in, and then you get married, or it's been too long, you move in or something, and then all of a sudden, you suck. And every time I have a negative interaction, I pull 4 to 1. right? Because it takes 4 positive for every 1 negative interaction. This is crazy, right? So you put $100, you put in $500, $400 in the bank, and you pull out 100, it's gone. Like, whoa, this is not cool. Emotionally, it's like that. That's why a year in, you're good. 2 years in, I cannot stand this person. Because what happened is I do something and my wife goes, that's contempt. That's contempt. Why are you doing contempt? Instead of, man, I appreciate you. I appreciate that you're my husband. I appreciate that you work for us. I appreciate that this and this and this. My wife and I have these 2 talents. Hers is one is called restorative, which is she solves problems. Anna, she solves problems, right? And she doesn't have positivity, which means she's not negative, but she's not real. She's not a cheerleader, right? I have positivity. I'm a cheerleader, right? And I like credit. So if I clean for a long time before our coaching, I spend 2 hours cleaning the kitchen, right? And I leave a cup on the thing. She'll walk in and go, hey, how come the cup's not put up? And I think, really? That's where we're going to start? That's how we're going to start? And in my mind, I think, oh my God, you're so critical. And all she's like, I'm just trying to put the last piece of puzzle in the puzzle, right? Because she's trying to solve problems. So it was bad enough for a while. Before we got coaching, I quit making her coffee. No, I'm not doing that for you. Why? Can't do it right. Everything I say is wrong. Screw it. And she's like, you're just a jerk. Well, I don't want to say what you are, right? So now now think about this. We have all this training. I know she has restorative, which means she's never going to change. She's right-handed. She's never going to not do this. Matter of fact, if you see her at the gym, you walk over and go, hey, Anna, good job. Does she like it? No. She's like, what's wrong? Am I doing something wrong? But if you came over and said, hey, I thought you were doing your cleans, and if you could pull just a little more on your shoulders when you do that, it would be great. She's like, well, thank you. But she doesn't want you to tell you something positive, a negative, and positive, like I do. And so what I do now is if she said the same thing, instead I go, oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Could you help me understand what I did well? And she'd be like, I'm sorry. Am I being critical? I don't know if it's critical. I just would like credit. And now, because I've been in the mornings, usually I tell her thank you at least 4 or 5 times in the first hour we're up for whatever, something. So if she's grumping around, all I have to do is remove the positive reinforcement. And in a few minutes, in 20, 30 minutes, she's like, am I being grumpy? I don't know. It's grumpy. I don't prefer the way we're dealing with this right now, but I don't know. And she'll stop. And she knows I do this, right? And she's an amazing woman. I've been married 32 years. I like my wife. But we had 6 problems we could not get rid of. And now I know how to respond. Thank you, right? Thank you. I appreciate that you told me that. In the future, I'll try to figure out how to get that cup put away. Probably won't, but I'll try. And now I get what I need too. I help her not to I protect me from her, because I don't tell her she's critical, because that would be mean. Be like a punch in the face. I protect her from me. Now I learn how to communicate in a way and be appreciative and thankful for her contribution and still get my needs met as well. And we don't fight. It's like night and day. It's crazy how helpful this stuff is. And it starts, we didn't go into personality stuff because, we're already late. So, but if you guys ever want to do personality stuff, we do that. I was going to give you these too, if you don't mind passing them around. It just has information about the personality stuff we do. If you guys wanted to do training on that, usually we do perfect world. You guys do it first, 2 months, figure out if you like it. If you think it's good, have the managers do it. Does that make sense? Yeah. And then come back and do like a long-term 4 or 5 hour, 4 or 8 hour team training. And I can do regular stuff over the long haul too. I'm not just trying to sell, I'm just trying to, big picture. That's kind of how we would tend. And I would tell you, the most important thing I've done was, here's one of the books. This is for you, Latoya. I have those if you guys would want them. They're like $15. That's what they cost me. That overview is what we went over today. Okay. And then the initial coaching was the most helpful thing I've been through ever in my life, outside of walking with Jesus. Like it unlocked some stuff I could not, even after 30 years of mentoring people, I could not figure out how to regulate. Because it was who I am. So there's this, it's who I am. Yeah, but you're punching the gas pedal, Bill, you're doing 70 in a 55, or 70 in a school zone. Well, so what? Anyway, and if you want to talk about it sometime, just let me know. Any questions?
We appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'll send you an invoice too, if that's okay. You should see it.
Hey, took them. Those
Oh,
are-
nice.
Yeah,
Do you
ours
know?
was Gallup. We did the
Oh,
Gallup.
of course you're
stuff.
strategic. Did you do the full 34?
Yeah.
Do you know? Good.
Mhm.
If you guys both did it, if you'll send me,
She didn't do it. Well, I don't know.
Oh,
if
you
she
should
did.
just- you
I
should
did
do
mine
it.
with the company.
if
yeah.
you send it, if she takes it and you send it to me, I'll make you one of those grids
Okay,
so you
cool.
can see it.
Cool.
It's pretty impressive. It's
Yeah,
helpful.
yeah.
Of course you have strategic because you just see stuff.
Woo is my 6th.
Okay, nice. Well, and I'd tell you, you'll probably, if you look at your stuff, who you really are probably goes down to
Yeah.
somewhere between 9 and 14, and who you're not is around, they're down in the last 6 or 7, maybe 8. And these are weaknesses. They're non-talents or things that you're going to suck at always. It's going to be hard to do. It'll cost you a lot of energy. But your real weaknesses are up here. And they're probably blind to you. You're strategic, how you come across strategically, probably when you try to talk to people and they ask you, well, why are we doing that? And you're like, oh my God. I have to download a cloud of information. I can't, can you just trust me?
Yeah.
Right? Unless you're around somebody strategic and like, oh yeah, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing. Good, that's cool. Did you like it?
Yo, absolutely. Dude, I've had this in my bag, and I literally probably took this 12 to 15 years ago, and I keep it in there.
Yeah, it's super helpful.
Yeah. We
You
used
know,
to have it on our doors at the office, so we knew kind of the person
Correct.
going in to
Correct.
talk to.
when I coach people, I pull it out every time.
Yeah.
I keep mine around. When Anna and I are frustrated, I go back to it and I look and go, oh yeah, that's right.
That's right. Yeah.
That's right. That's who she is. Because I want her to change, but I really don't. But I kind of do. You know what I mean?
Be the next thing we do with the personality test.
It's super helpful. And for me, the test didn't help. The coaching was like night and day. I took the test probably 10 years ago. And my buddy who told me he wanted me to coach it with me, I was like, oh yeah, Clifton's, I'm an influencer, whatever. You saw I have all the yellow. I'm an influencer, whatever. He's like, no, I have this transformational coaching. It'll be great. I'm like, so yeah, okay, sure, whatever, bro. I'll do it with you. I'll do it for free. Okay, I'll do it for you. I'll do it. 2 sessions in, I decided to be a coach. It was that helpful. Like I said, I've been mentoring people for almost 30 years. You give me your stuff, I can tell you who you are.
Okay.
Not exactly. Because only you really know because of the mix, but strongly, you'd be amazed how much I could tell you about yourself. That's why I like it, because if I have your stuff, even at the gym, if you start talking, I know the talent so well now, I'll get somebody will frustrate me. I'm like, oh, that guy's probably got connectedness. That's probably what's up. So I don't get mad anymore at people I can talk myself off the ledge. So it's kind of cool. Cool. Well, thanks, you guys. I really appreciate you hiring me.
I want to take a quick break, make some calls, do what we gotta do. I gotta make a couple of
Oh.
getting up and not doing that. That's the first thing you should do when you get up. Like,
No. Yep.
So I got strategic. So these are my strengths. I'll read mine out loud. So my first one is strategic, achiever, relator. Obviously, I mean, these kind of make sense to me, but strategic means you're going to look at the strategic way of doing things. Achiever, my goal is to be an achiever. I always want, like, when we go to these conferences, I can't stand when we're not at the top of the list. My whole goal is to be an achiever.
Oh, do you have competition in your top two? Not the top five.
It might be. I have to go back and look at it.
Don't like to lose, right?
Don't like it. So
Ever.
I like to achieve.
Ever.
Relator. I like to talk to you. You guys could probably attest to that.
Deep relationship.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to talk to you about the weather, by the way.
Right. I want to have.
Or
I
sports.
want to relate to you. Like, hey, what do you do? Like, what? Tell me a little bit about
And
yourself.
he may dig in a little deeper than you choose to talk to him about. Hey, let's talk about this deep, and why are we talking about this? I have it too.
I'm a learner. I do like to continue to learn. That's why I keep pushing these books on y'all, because it's important to continue to be a learner and input. I'm shocked input pretty low, because I do always have one of my top five.
Input is the facts.
Yeah.
Do you struggle keeping too many things in your mind or at the house?
I got a bunch of lists going on. So, I mean, down to last night, I knew I had 5 things I wanted to get done before I went to bed. I made my list. I got to do it.
I would say as far as quote unquote weakness, we're talking about like that. Like, if I don't come with facts,
I don't need it.
then it's like, well, you know, what are we talking about?
That's right.
I want to see the facts.
He probably has analytical pretty high too.
Yeah.
Down around there. Which means only the facts, and he's going to be bull. That's not true. Let me show you one reason that's not true.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I will go find the information. Yeah. I mean,
And with his strategic, he's going to try to out-strategize you. You're not right. Let me tell you why. Even if he's wrong,
Yeah,
he's
that's
probably
true.
still going to try to out-strategize you.
that's true. That's spot on.
Can I ask you 2 more questions? What did you feel like the most helpful thing today was? For you guys.
The actual strategies that we can put in place
Okay.
and use. I mean, because this is ongoing, you know what I mean, as far as just conflicts or new conflicts or guest conflicts, team member conflicts, or just, you know, leadership conflicts. That's always going to be, right? And then, but also how we can look at these are not only just work tools, but we can use this in our personal relationships. That's, you know.
Yeah. Oh, and as you respond in your personal relationships is how you respond at work.
Yeah.
If you're a jerk at home, you be a jerk at work.
Yeah, and you're gonna bring it to work, and I think that's why it's good. You use these tools in and outside of here. Like, if you used it more outside, we would be probably ecstatic, because you're gonna come to work happier. I think for me, did a lot of what Bill was saying sound familiar to like the meeting we just had and what we kind of talked about? I know, Mr. Torrey and I just had a lot of conversation, and it was like, remember we just talked about that. And we did not converse prior to this meeting. So for it to be spot on, I hope, what I like to say is it's got to be some validity and some truth to it. If you're hearing it out of somebody else's mouth and it's not from us, and we didn't say, hey, Bill, when you go in there, I want you to talk about this. We didn't do that. We didn't do that. And it was almost a lot of the same conversations and topics that we've been talking about going through the conflict. So I appreciate that more than anything. It was like, spot on.
Anything I can improve? Do better? One easy way to use the win feedbacks, like when you're giving it to anybody, employee or each other. Hey, you got 2 minutes? Is there anything, could you tell me one thing I'm doing well? Could you tell me one thing I could improve? Is there anything I'm doing that bugs you that you would prefer I didn't? Remember your boss, that I'm doing that you don't like? One thing, not 51. And then, what do you think you're doing well? Is there one thing you think you're doing really well here? Yeah, I would affirm that. That's really awesome. Is there anything you think you should improve? Yeah, I should show up on time. Well, you should. That's a good idea. That's great. And when I go to give feedback to someone else, I always ask them first.
Yeah.
Because they probably already know they're doing it. And if they say it, you don't have to comment on it. And then I would ask them, well, what do you think? What are you doing well? What could you improve? Is there anything you're doing you shouldn't be doing? Yeah, I'm smoking on times I shouldn't be smoking. Okay, got it. Yeah, probably a good idea. And you don't have to be mean to them. Just, yeah, that's a great idea. And then do the same thing back to them. I think not just what you're doing there. I think this other thing you're doing is actually really, really good as well. I affirm. This one thing I'd like you to improve. And after you do that very often, you won't have any more, I don't want you to be doing this anymore. And what you're doing is you're giving a chance. If you do that on a regular basis, like weekly or bi-weekly or monthly, it gives you time to pour in what you're doing well. It gives gratitude. And after a while, people might even start coming up, hey, could you tell me something I'm doing good? I will tell you something you're doing good. I think you're doing this really good. You show up on time like crazy. You used to not. Remember? Oh, yeah, I remember. I used to be late all the time. You were, and you're not. Woo-hoo, improvement, right? We like that. See how that feels? Just saying it makes us feel good. Your employees will like it too. You know, and if there's tension, it's an easy way. If you have a regular, like you do this once a week, not on paper, just real informal, take 2 minutes, first of the shift, end of the shift, before you leave, anything you did well and you didn't do. It gives you practice being uncomfortable conversations, because you may have thought things you didn't like, but you may not say it because we don't have those conversations much, because we don't know if we're safe. You're building safety with your employees and with each other. And if you guys are going to have conflict, talk about it. You know, do it appropriately and professionally, but talk about it. And if they're like, too bad, then, oh, well, okay, too bad. You know, because we can't all have everything the way we want, but we can at least talk about it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great day. Appreciate you having me. And if you need to, come to militia. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you so much, guys.
Right. I don't know. I was looking for the receptionist. I don't know.
Yeah, she never did bring me a credit card. I mean, yes.
And where's she
Just,
working?
are you on